assurance about him. He loves this place, and on his previous visits he's never lost here. And as you can see, he lines up on an all-McLaren front row, the first of 2007. Giancarlo Fisichella, we believe he's running quite light and could certainly be a threat off the start line. Mark Webber and Nico Rosberg, likewise, all running fairly light. The two BMWs would appear to be heavier. Robert Kubica, I'm told, is on a one-stop strategy, which might bring him into play for a podium later on, particularly if anything happens to the cars just in front of him on their strategies. If safety cars intervene, that might just hand it to Robert Kubica. Good to see Jenson Button back in the top 10 with the Honda, just behind teammate Rubens Barrichello. Tonio Liuzzi did a great job in the Toro Rosso to get himself up there. David Coulthard, you see there, 13th on the grid. He was given an unusual penalty, not allowed to take part in the final part of qualifying after he blocked Heikki Kovalainen in Quali 2. And there was some harsh words to be said between both of them. And look at Ralf Schumacher.
As the formation lap begins for the Monaco Grand Prix, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has watched my videos and subscribed to this channel. Let me know in the comment section below any plans for any videos of like classic race highlights you want, but it has to be like before 2009, because if not, FOM keeps copyrighting it. So anyway, here we go. Here come the lights for the 2007 Monaco Grand Prix.
The start of this one. It's not all over at the start, but it's a big part. And the Monaco Grand Prix is go. Hamilton goes defensive. That looked tactical. Straight in behind Alonso. Massa cannot find a way round, and that was beautifully choreographed by the two McLarens. A bit of bump and grind there between the BMW of Heidfeld and Nico Rosberg, and Heidfeld has got in front of him. That's terrific. Looks like Jenson Button's lost a couple of places, and so has Ralf Schumacher, who's at the tail of the field as they stream through the Casino Square, past the wonderful casino there, the Hotel de Paris on the right. Classic scenes, a classic racetrack, and we're underway here at Monaco. 78 laps, a long race. Alonso leading Hamilton. Massa third, fourth is Fisichella. Fifth is Heidfeld, sixth Rosberg, seventh Barrichello, eighth Webber, ninth Kubica, 10th is Wirtz. Jenson Button has dropped down to 11th. David Coulthard has dropped down to 15th from 13th on the grid.
Yes, Coulthard had a bad getaway, but the two McLarens looking very grippy early doors, aren't they, in terms of confidence for the drivers. Now, if we're right and Lewis Hamilton's got 4 more laps of fuel than Alonso, and this race is not interrupted by safety cars, not interrupted by rain, then all he has to do is stay glued to the gearbox of Fernando Alonso.
The rain gutters down the inside. Stick to the track. Well, we've got someone in the barriers. It's one of the Toro Rosso cars, and I believe it's Tonio Liuzzi, who has lost it at Massenet, right next to the casino on the outside of the racetrack. Now, any car in the barriers here in Monaco always makes race director Charlie Whiting think about a safety car. We are only a lap into this race, but here's what happened.
Yes, he's gone over the top of Massenet, think too much of it. Massa in third and 20 seconds off the lead. And just as we say that, this is an unscheduled stop for Mark Webber, no doubt about it. Hopefully this is not more unreliability for Red Bull. Meanwhile, Hamilton is about to do the fastest lap of the race, like he's all of a sudden got on with it. Hamilton is flying on this lap, while Alonso's in the traffic.
Yeah, the rear's locking up on me, I can't continue with this gear.
Well, they've had some problems with their gearbox, Red Bull. I don't know if that's what it is, but it sounds like something in the transmission anyway. Third retirement in a row then for Mark Webber, still to score a point in 2007. But what about Lewis Hamilton? That last lap, 1.2 seconds faster than Alonso. Hamilton in clear air, Alonso making his way through traffic. Of course,
keep your head in there, because you can pick up some understeer, and has he seen him coming? Come on, Yarlo, get out of the way. He got completely out of the way for Fernando, but he certainly wasn't helpful there to Lewis Hamilton.
And that's critical, because Heidfeld has a few more laps of fuel in this car. That is exactly not what Fisichella and the Renault team wants. Into the pits comes your race leader, Fernando Alonso. This is a very important time for Lewis Hamilton. Ferrari are ready also for Felipe Massa. This is lap 26 of the Grand Prix, more or less when we expected it. The question, losing quite a bit of time there. So what Hamilton can do is put a bit more fuel in at this stop and try and go longer again in the second stint, try and make the difference then.
Still not happy with the car. He feels he can go faster, and he's told his team to take some pressure out of the rear tyres. So just before this, I caught a glimpse. They took some pressure out of the rear tyres, so a bit of oversteer. Nice.
Today you're driving around hoping the car will break, to be honest. for a bit of relief. And Alonso pits then at the end of lap 51. Ted is there.
Yeah, he was very ginger, very slow into the box, and they were just sorting something out on the fuel rig, but it's all gone well, and it's the soft tyres. So McLaren taking the soft tyres for this last stint when they said it should be suitable for the rubbered-in track.
And the important thing, Ted, is that Hamilton has got 11 seconds of clear air in front of him on the racetrack now to press home his advantage. He is not going to hit any traffic for a while.
Seconds went to, unless other cars filed out of the pit lane.
Oh well, there they are. So clearly he didn't have as much fuel in as we had hoped or as we had been informed, and there we go, in comes Lewis Hamilton, and the race is going to be handed back to Fernando Alonso. Felipe Massa nowhere to be seen, 22
through there, and they must not cross the yellow line, otherwise they'll be receiving a drive-through penalty. It's lap 54 then. Alonso resumes the lead, and surely now McLaren will call it off.
Hang on a second. I think that the BMW has got between them. Yeah, Robert Kubica has got between them, and that's very interesting because he isn't going to stop again. Was he a lap down? Maybe he's a lap down, yeah. He can't possibly be there, absolutely right. So Alonso leading, Hamilton second, Massa third, Fisichella fourth, Kubica fifth, Heidfeld in sixth place, Wirtz is seventh, and eighth Barrichello.
Kimi Raikkonen is out of the reckoning completely, back in 11th place.
In comes Massa, turn out of front wing for the third place man. Slow on there, getting the front tyres off, getting the jack up. Another set of super softs. Ted Kravitz, what do you got?
Yeah, it was the quick release mechanism on the front jack. The Ferrari front jack man put it under the front wing and pulled the quick release, and the car went down on the floor again. The guys with the guns are trying to get the tyres off, and they can't because it's on the deck. So little mistake there.
Adrian Sutil stopped out on the racetrack. Remarkably few retirements in this race. We lost Mark Webber to a combination of problems, some of which were gearbox related. Antonio Liuzzi, who crashed in the opening lap of this race, and Sutil is not a particularly dangerous place, I don't think, is he?
It's the inside of Casino Square. Marshall's there doing a great job. If you fancy being a marshal, if you want to be close to motorsport but you're not allowed to be a driver, now he's hit the barrier on the way like Liuzzi did earlier on, and then just creeps around the inside of Casino Square, and an unforced error there, and he will park it just around the next. He should have probably left it there, although actually it's an easier place for them to clear that. But if you fancy getting involved in motorsport, you want to be a marshal, clock onto the websites and go and have a bit of training. It is one of the best seats in the house. So it's lap 57. Alonso leads Lewis Hamilton by just 2.5 seconds. Felipe Massa, having had his second stop, now 40 seconds adrift, but comfortably in third place.
20 laps separate McLaren from their 14th victory in Monte Carlo as a constructor. They are running a 1-2 here with Fernando Alonso in front of Lewis Hamilton. That is how close it is. Honda's first point for the Works team of 2007. We've already had the point, of course, for the Super Aguris. There is Rosberg with 18 laps to go, making his second stop. Let's hear from Ted.
Yeah, unfortunately, strange strategy for Jenson Button. He does have to stop again. Of course, we saw that he took on the hard tyres in his second stop, which meant that even if the fuel, he had enough fuel, he would have to stop again for tyres. But it will be a splash and dash for them. Just question, Martin, why didn't they put him on a one stop? Why didn't they fuel him up in the first stop, change the tyres, and then he could have got Heidfeld when Heidfeld pits for the second time. It's a bit strange, that.
His teammate Liuzzi crashed early on in the Grand Prix. There is Jenson into the pits from 8th.
Yeah, as Ted pointed out, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that's what they've done, and that's what they've got. It's cost him a point, and it'll give a point to Raikkonen, who's now the fastest man on the racetrack. Now the leaders are coasting to an extent.
Close to the barriers again, lapping in the mid 1 minute 16, so they're still going at a fair old pace, the two front runners, 2 seconds apart from each other.
I think they're going at the pace where they don't lose tyre.
The top 10, Rosberg 12th, that strategy hasn't worked for him. 13th is Kovalainen, started the race in 15th place, having been blocked by David Coulthard in qualifying, very unhappy about that. for the next few races. The next two coming up as Albers retires the spiker are Montreal and Indianapolis, both quite similar in character. Long straights, big braking zones. It's the 17th of Alonso's career. He wins in Monte Carlo, his second victory of the season. It's another second place for Lewis Hamilton. Terrific performance by him. And my 5-year-old son said to me when I got back from Barcelona, "Dad, I don't think Lewis is any good." "Why not, son?" I said, "Because he never wins, he always finishes second." I tried to explain, but I'm sure one day Lewis's chance will come.
In terms of he had the pace, he had the consistency mentally and physically, and the car was beautifully set up, you have to say. So Alonso fully deserved that victory.
Honourable mention as well, I think, for the one stopping Robert Kubica, getting it up into 5th place. Giancarlo Fisichella in 4th. Alex Wurz as well, 11th to 7th for him. Scott Speed, who finished in 9th place, having started down in 18th in a Toro Rosso. That must have been quite a heroic drive by him, I would think. Only the 4 retirements, both of the spikers out. Sutil crashed. Albers we saw retiring in the pits. Webber, the variety of technical problems. Antonio Liuzzi, who smashed into the barriers as well. The crowd seemed to have enjoyed themselves. A big Spanish turnout, as there is at every race now. It's Alonso's Barmy Army that's replaced Schumacher's Barmy Army. Coulthard has probably run out of fuel there.